If you want your singing to feel easier, then there's really two things that you have to be able to do really well. The first one here is the ability to adjust pitch, to stretch the voice. The second one is the ability to adjust for pressure, adjust for volume, how much you press those chords together. And to do these two things with precision and independence. However, the common problem for most singers is that there's a lack of independence between these two sets of muscles, between these two functions, which means sometimes as we sing up higher and higher and higher, we have to push more volume, push more connection, push more pressure. And so today I want to share with you an exercise that actually came off the back of a Zoom lesson with one of my students. And this is an exercise that can help you start to build a bit more of this independency. Also, as a side note, if you are interested in working with me privately, over Zoom, or if you just want something you can work through at your own pace, like a step 1, step 2, step 3 kind of program, check out some of the links down in the description. Okay, so what is the exercise? Let me demonstrate. Now, what is happening, right? You might notice is I'm actually going up to the top note in a falsetto first. The reason why is I'm using it to really establish the stretching mechanism of the voice. There's a certain place that the sound goes to, kind of lifts up somewhere into the head. And then I repeat that note with a bit more pressure, something that I might associate with a bit more like my regular voice, my kind of speech kind of voice. And I'm trying to combine those two feelings together. Now, this exercise might seem very, very simple on the surface. There's really not a whole lot of notes. We're kind of just going up in falsetto, kind of adding some pressure and coming back down. But what will make a huge difference into your technique is learning to execute it as clean and as correct as possible. So let's talk more about what are some of the cues, what are some of the things you should be looking for when you're trying to do this exercise correctly. Now, the biggest one that I've noticed, and I've also noticed in the student that I was working with today, some of the best reps are when we're able to kind of switch between, a falsetto and something with a bit more connection on that same pitch without it feeling like it has to be this kind of big maneuver, this kind of big jump, this big kind of extra exertion of effort. Because usually when you're feeling this extra effort, this extra maneuver, this extra push, it's because you are adding these extra things that are unnecessary. Little signs like gee, 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 like if the whole body kind of moves to kind of try hit those notes, or maybe you feel like you have to add a lot of volume, gee, 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 like you have to add a lot of things just to make it work, then there's a sign that you're probably not doing it as clean. Whereas if your form was clean, you had that independency between those two muscles and you're not really adding a lot of those extra things, the adjustment should feel quite small. It really doesn't feel like you're doing a lot to make that happen. The sound kind of just pops up into the head. I'm kind of finding that position with falsetto and I just add a bit of weight. And the sound kind of just gets a bit thicker. It doesn't feel like this big, crazy maneuver. So see if you can sit with this exercise for this next week, because chances are you might be trying this exercise right now and you're noticing that you have to do a lot of extra things just to get that switch to happen. But it doesn't have to be that crazy. And if anything, that kind of shows that the independency between these two muscles isn't as clean as it can be. See if you can figure this one out, because once you do, it's going to highlight for you, okay, this is what it feels like to kind of keep the pitch. This is what it feels like to adjust for the connection in a way that's precise and independent. So apart from that, team, hopefully this quick tip, this quick exercise was useful. My name is Ivan. I'm your voice teacher. If you'd like to work with me privately or, study one of my self-study programs, links are down in the description below. Apart from that, I'll see you every single Thursday or Friday for these weekly tutorials. Take care.